So yeah, it all worked out. Luckily, it was a long process.
Such a long process.
It was a very, very long process.
We shall soon find out.
It was this time last year that we applied. Hey guys, welcome to my first video, joined by the lovely
Jess,
my flatmate and fellow doctor at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. This video is going to be all about how we got here from the NHS, working as doctors in the UK, moving over to Australia and working at the Royal Brisbane. So we're going to break it down. There'll be a whole bunch of timestamps, so feel free to jump to whichever part is relevant. We're going to be talking about the application process, how we figured out how to apply, all the different steps along the way to finally getting the job, plus minus any interviews and things that happened along the way. Stay tuned. So Jess, do you want to kick it off and tell us a bit about your medical journey so far?
Yeah, great. So just to clarify, I'm currently in F3 at the moment. So I did my med school back in the UK, and then I did what we call kind of F1 and F2. So I did that up north, so Nottingham and Lincoln. And then I decided I wanted to take a year out. I always knew I wanted to take a year out. But a dream of mine was to always go to Australia. Didn't know where, but definitely Australia. And here I am.
So which medical school was it again?
So I did biomed for 3 years, then medicine at Bristol University.
Right.
And then did F1, F2, and then F3 here I am.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal. So my story is slightly different. So went to Leicester University, did an intercalated degree at Imperial College London, and then did my F1 and F2 foundation years in Peterborough City Hospital. And yeah, same thing, kind of knew that I didn't want to jump straight into training.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take a year out, but I wanted to make the most of it as well. And to come out to Australia, I love traveling, and I feel like this is a place where you need to be for at least a year, to be fair.
Definitely. It's such an experience for me, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. When did you start applying?
So I started applying around, let's think about this, October, November, I started doing my research. So I started
Yeah. Similar, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because that's when we had to apply for specialty training.
Oh, okay.
So I applied for specialty training, but then I was also looking into this because I wanted to have a backup option in case I didn't get Australia.
That was a good thought.
Then
I just went to it on. I was like, let's just see what happens.
I got this, guys. Tell me about your research.
I think in my mind I set definitely want to go for a year.
Mm.
The first thing you need to think about is where, because Australia is massive.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How many you can fit? What were you saying? The UK?
Europe easily, dude. UK. It's a continent.
But anyway, so I was trying to pick where, and I came up with 3 places that I really loved: Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney. They are definitely the 3 that I thought I could see myself living there for a year. What about you? How did you decide what to do?
No, so, okay, I was quite similar. I looked at the map of Australia, and it looked essentially like Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney was one stretch. Didn't really know much about Perth or Adelaide, and it didn't look like much was going on there. I had a few friends, acquaintances who had gone to Australia, and they all mentioned those 3 spots.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't apply to Sydney, actually, because I heard Sydney was very business.
Oh, okay.
And Melbourne was very like London city.
Yeah, like a city vibe. Yeah.
And they said Brisbane was more Australian.
Yes.
And beaches.
That's exactly what I thought.
Okay, so what had you heard? What had you heard of these 3 places?
So I heard Brisbane is like sunshine dreams. Like beach vibes, sun all year round. So, and I think I was just so like exhausted from dealing with COVID back home that I was like, I kind of want a placement where I'll be like, the location gives me happiness and the sun makes me happy. Like I'm a sun baby. That's why Brisbane like won it for me.
But I do have friends that worked at hospitals in both Melbourne and Sydney, and they're loving life as well. So yeah, I don't think there's any wrong choice per se. No. It just depends what you're after. So weather-wise, I think we have the best weather
Definitely,
here in Brisbane.
Yeah. Even though this year it's been a bit more rainier than normal.
It's rained a bit more, but it's still been
beautiful.
warm and beautiful. And I think we've got the best beaches as well in Queensland.
I think they're just
hands
easy
down.
to get to as well.
Yeah, we've got the Sunshine Coast, the Gold Coast, we've got the whole Great Barrier Reef stretch. So, Jess, what are the different ways that you applied to jobs here?
Okay, different ways. Okay, so I started off by ranking the hospitals, and then when I kind of finalised, well, basically I had a page for Sydney, a page of hospitals for Melbourne, and a page of hospitals for Brisbane.
I went with Excel things.
I'm organised.
Hashtag modern.
Hashtag IT. An old life over here. But yeah,
sorry.
Then I kind of directly emailed the hospitals, basically asking them what the application process was like. What did they require from me? What positions were available?
So I definitely did that. So I applied directly by emailing hospitals. But there were a couple other things that I did. There was like job seeker websites that I went on as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I will add them somewhere in the description, where I just typed RMO or Junior Doctor Job Australia and saw whatever came up. And they usually work in a way where you upload your CV and you just click apply to every job.
So it's quite easy.
So it's quite easy to apply to those. And the last thing I did was there are recruitment agencies. Once again, we'll add them to the caption, and they are funded by hospitals, so you don't have to pay them anything. And you just give them your CV and they find jobs that you could apply for, and they kind of do all of the introductions with the hospitals for you and come to you with any offers that they get. Only catch is they are more so for the rural hospitals. So it depends what you're after. If you're not looking for a rural job, then perhaps it's not ideal. Although one of the recruitment agencies gave me a job in Canberra, which is not really rural, debatable, but so they do sometimes have jobs in the city, but in the city is usually oversubscribed and they don't need the recruitment agencies to help. Can you tell me approximately how many places did you apply to or contact, and how many got back to you?
Maybe 6 to 8 places I applied. I remember like 2 from Sydney, 2 from Melbourne. I think the majority were actually from Brisbane. I didn't hear from many of them actually, but the main one that replied to me was the Royal Brisbane Women's Hospital, and I think because they had replied quicker than most, I was like, okay, let's just go for this one. Yeah, what about you?
I applied to way more. I think I applied to or emailed out at least 10 to 15 totally amongst Melbourne and Brisbane. I clicked apply on those job websites to a bunch. Quite a few got back with automated replies saying, hey, sorry, either it's closed, so they're not recruiting right now, or apply through their website or like their portals, because some places have a portal. So make sure you check your hospital website. Look for international RMO, whatever that tab is, or HMO 3 year. A bunch of not helpful replies, essentially. A lot of places did not reply at all.
Yes, don't be disheartened.
Yeah, don't be disheartened.
Don't respond.
You only need one place.
Yeah, that's so true.
So then the Royal Brisbane replied to me, and just like you, they gave me the most thorough, beautiful response ever. And it was a really nice welcoming email saying, when you come to Australia, you'll need to make sure you've got your visa on check. You'll need to make sure this application form, this registration, yada, yada, yada.
They laid it out really nicely, didn't they? What was required.
Is done. And they gave kind of some deadlines and timings. So it was more information than anything I'd found online or anywhere. I also thought I want to be associated with a place that has good communication. Yeah,
it's definitely so important, isn't it?
Because the uncertainty kills you, honestly. Yeah. I hooked in with the Royal Brisbane as well. I did have an interview for Canberra, which was set up with one of the recruitment agencies. They said ED and Canberra were happy with my CV. They wanted to interview me. I interviewed them. An hour later, they got back to me saying they want to take me on. although I was super excited because it was my first offer, I did not exactly want to go to Canberra. It's quite a small place, not super close to the beach. It was a different vibe. So I wasn't feeling Canberra. So I rejected them, which is a very scary move because I had no offers at that point. And then Royal Brisbane got back. So thank goodness. And here we are.
Yeah.
We were going to talk through the various application process steps. And so you started with APRA.
Yes.
The long, gruesome
the longest
form.
documentation you'll ever probably see in your whole entire life.
You needed 3 forms of ID, all notarized.
Yep.
Degree
So,
certifications.
Passport and
Driving license.
driving license, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember them asking for vaccination and immunization history.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was for APRA or just the hospitals. And then they didn't tell us till super last minute that we needed a booster of
Whooping cough.
Whooping cough.
Yeah.
Pertussis. So then when you come out here, you have to pay for it, which we could have totally done
Yeah,
in
we
the
could
UK.
have done that, yeah.
But anyways, a bunch of police checks, a UK police check,
It's like a DBS CRB check.
the DBS one, and then you needed the ACRO police check, like the Australian one.
The contract, but that would be from the hospital, and you just sign the contract. Ours was different because we travelled during COVID times.
True.
So we had to have a lot of kind of the Queensland border pass to be able to enter Queensland.
Mm-hmm.
Travel exemption. Remember the hospital needed to write a letter for us?
Yeah, so travel exemption, which you may not need now that COVID is settling. Visa checks, which involved a medical, which you will likely need.
Yeah.
So medical means going for
blood tests, X-ray, chest X-ray, and just like a full-on examination.
medical. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think anybody who wants to work in a hospital needs
all of that. So like full-on chest X-ray and everything, and you have to pay for it, of course. And it's only done in 3 places, I think, in the UK, or maybe a couple more. But I did mine in London.
I did mine in London as well.
So
Did you go to Knightsbridge?
Yeah.
Oh, so did I.
Our neighbours.
Yeah.
Met Jess
Isn't that so strange?
at her medical check in London, in Knightsbridge. Like, what a small world. You need to get kind of your medical certificate recognised and approved by the Australian Medical Council, so that takes time to get back to you. APRA took time, and then getting all your paperwork into the right places.
I think APRA took a long time. I think because you had to get all those...
You had to get everything in order before APRA even looks at you. And then when they start to look at you, for us it was like 2 months, I think is what they told me.
Yes.
A month to 2 months.
It took like 3 to 4.
Yeah, mine took forever, but they kept saying it's 7 to 8 weeks. But essentially, it takes a while, and you're just sitting around, just waiting, no response from nobody, if they've looked at you or not, and then eventually you'll get someone assigned to your case for APRA, who you can get in touch with, and then they're not great at communicating, but they'll tell you when the work is done, and they need to hear back from your employer as well. So
that was the other thing. It's like you're like the middleman between the two. To attach documents that the hospital has signed.
Yeah.
And then having to attach that to your documentation.
Exactly.
And then, I found, I'm not sure about you, but the APRA document was quite difficult to understand. There's lots of words that I didn't actually understand what they meant, or like...
Yeah. I think I know what you mean. Which is when the WhatsApp group really came in handy.
So many questions on there.
If someone had already done it and it was either approved or in process, you'd be like, so what did you put for this bit? Especially on the visa documents, there were so many random things that I didn't know which checkbox to tick.
Yeah.
And for the travel exemption, I didn't even know we had to do a travel exemption until people were messaging on the WhatsApp group like, hey guys, is your travel exemption approved? And I was like, what? Do I need to do that too? So bad.
So flights. Yeah. Flights for us was very, very stressful. Very different, I think, to what you guys might experience.
That's true.
Because we were trying to book them during the pandemic.
Yeah, not ideal.
So stressful.
There weren't many flights at all. Not many people were allowed to enter Australia. So I went with Singapore in the end.
I went with Qatar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think also there was a lot of ghost flights. That was the issue. And actually, like our colleagues, like in the WhatsApp group that you made, lots of people are saying their flight's been cancelled or the flight doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think one of my worries was if the flight got cancelled, because then it took time, I think, for them to reimburse you that flight money. And I don't think I had enough at that point because the flights were so expensive expensive. Buy another flight until my refund got
maxed out credit cards all and everything. Multiple credit cards. Gosh. Yeah, and then luckily they did say they would reimburse us, but then that takes time. Yeah. So you need to be prepared for that as well. Like you don't get reimbursed straight away, and you have quarantine, which we didn't have to pay for.
I haven't received anything.
They paid for our quarantine, thank goodness. Yeah. But then just when you Airbnb and stuff, when you come out here, rent your apartment, just shopping for groceries. You need money.
That's what's quite expensive, I think, in Australia, is groceries, definitely.
True that.
And then the lifestyle, just like living. So we're living in a lovely apartment. We absolutely love it. But it is pricey, isn't it?
There are more affordable options.
I think for what it offers, it would be more expensive in London.
So true. We would not be able to afford this kind of place in the middle of the city centre in the UK.
Yeah,
for sure. That's for another video. Yeah. Once again, feel free to comment below if you want to know more about renting in Australia. Cool. Application wise, I think that's about it.
So the day we set off?
Yeah. Got here. Just 14 days of quarantine. Just 14 little days.
That was tough.
That was an
But we made it out alive.
So, now that we've gone through, I think, everything.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Should we make a quick little summary of the steps involved?
Okay.
So, step 1, choose your location.
Yes. Decide in how big Australia is, decide which area you want to go to.
Yeah, and then choose the hospitals within it and apply directly, definitely. Go to the website of the hospital, find the recruitment's email.
Yeah.
Thank you. And email them your CV, email them your letter of interest, or just an email saying, how do I apply to your amazing institution? Apply through recruitment agencies as well. Find a couple of recruitment agencies, medical recruitment agencies. Give them your CV as well. And then just go on websites looking for RMO jobs in Brisbane or wherever you're looking. And then you kind of have to wait. It's a waiting game for a reply.
Yeah. Then once they reply, then start. I think they give you, our hospital gave us a nice kind of follow through.
Yeah, they'll ask you for what they need.
Send your documents to the hospital, basically, for your evidence.
And then they'll give you a contract. Hopefully. You may or may not have to sit an interview.
And then I'd say start applying for APRA.
Yeah. So most importantly, get your APRA stuff together. So the steps for that would be public notarized versions of your IDs. So your driving license, passport, medical degree. So notarize your documents, apply for APRA, fill in that 30-page document, get all your evidence together in a nice little folder on your computer, do your police checks, UK and Australia, ACRO.
Apply for Australian Medical Council. Get your degree approved in Australia.
Yep. Until that is done, you can't really apply for APRA. And Australian Medical Council will take a week or 2 weeks to go through your paperwork and what you've uploaded. That's what you e-notarize. So then that takes time as well. And then after all of that is back and you get an AMC number, then you put that AMC number into your APRA form. And then your APRA form is finally complete.
Then it kind of links, that's why. Yeah. And then I'd say visa.
Yeah. Then your APRA form is complete. Send it off to APRA. Send it off to your hospital because the hospital need to do their SPPA form or whatever. So they need to send their version into APRA as well. So just email it to everyone. Let them get on with their parts and on to the visa stuff.
Yeah.
And you need to get your medical done. That's a main limiting factor for your visa. So once your medical is done at XYZ institutions, they automatically email the reports and stuff to your visa. So you don't need to do anything more.
Yeah.
And you may need to book annual leave to go get your medical done because there's only certain days and times. And then travel exemption if there is like a COVID type situation going on. And then booking your flights. Book your flights early. It is scary to book your flights before you get the visa, but it is worth it if it's quite a busy time of year and if you might not get your flights in time.
Definitely book the flights early.
Yeah, you'll save a lot of money also. And you can choose whether you go directly with an airline. If you go with an agency, just be careful.
Yeah. I think Qatar was very good and Singapore was very good.
Singapore was beautiful. Totally recommend. I went business class. You usually do get your flights reimbursed, so go for it.
Yeah, we were quite lucky in that sense. They paid for our flights and business.
Yeah.
Never been business before.
It's good.
Yeah. That'd be it, I think.
Yeah, I think that is it. And then you come over here, and the rest is not that easy. No, but
we'll have more videos
fun.
on that.
The rest is so much fun because the stress is off. You're here.
I have to say, all that, I honestly think it was worth it.
So worth it.
So worth it.
When you're here, you have a lot of moments. I don't know about you, but like, you know, when you just sit back and you're like, I'm here.
Like, wow. Like, you have to pinch yourself to like, am I dreaming?
Believe that it's real. Yeah, it's so worth it. It's like a dream come true, literally.
So I recommend it, definitely. If you're thinking about Australia, I would say 100% go for it.
Although the job isn't as rosy and sunshines as people describe. So we'll have another video on jobs.
Yeah, on like different jobs. I think it depends which job you're in.
It totally depends what job you're in, but we can talk about that another time.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Well, good luck, everyone. So, everyone, good luck.
Thanks for listening in.
Yes,
if you made it till the end of the video, thank you.
And good luck on your applications.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's super scary, but you only need one place to say yes. So just apply to a whole bunch.
See what you get. Yeah.
And see what you get. Yeah. So feel free to follow me on Dr D'Sa Diaries, Instagram, public account, and I will be posting some more stories about my Australian journey. You'll see a lot of Jess on there too. And comment below if there's anything else you'd like us to do videos on, any questions you have. Love to hear from you guys.
Cool.
Bye. That was an
But we made it out alive.
And we found each other.
Yeah. We found each other.
Love you guys.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh,
She's crying. She loves me so much.
Speechless. Dead. Fail. Restart.
Cut. Action.